Friends, pals, fellow Rocketeers, welcome back to Space for Improvement, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, we're back. We're
back.
so back, in fact, that I got a new tattoo themed to this podcast.
No way, dude.
Yeah, I saw somebody comment about it, and I'm hoping you remember this reference because they were pretty thrilled about it. And I'm usually the one to throw out t-shirt design ideas, but I was so inspired that they wanted a t-shirt that I went and got a tattoo on my knuckles, dude. Can you read it?
It's over. Wait, hold on. Let me adjust my screen. Just keep it there. Keep it there. I got IDWEL.
Yeah.
Dwell?
Dwell.
Space for improvement.
Well, Braden, I love your new tattoo. I think it looks
Thank
great.
you. It's definitely
now-
not pen, and you can definitely not tell that I did my right hand with my left one in the pen.
Oh
It's a lot
yeah.
different.
There's a quality drop off for sure.
The dude was drinking.
I have some news for you too. Can I tell you about something that happened to me this morning?
Absolutely, pop off.
Well, so I woke up and the strangest, this has never happened before, but I woke up and the location I was in, you would never believe it,
No, okay.
but
Oh, it's back by
Let's
one
go.
person's popular demand. And some people, I like to think every time we record a new episode that someone has just listened to the last one and
Yeah.
it was just on the fringe of being too unhinged, but there was some information they liked in there, and then they're gonna
they were
come
like, I'll
into one of
tolerate
these-
this. Yeah.
Yeah, then they're gonna come into one of these soundboard episodes and be like, no,
That's it.
no. Okay,
Full
well,
plug.
this is a little bit of a vacation type episode. We're talking about some cool. Oh, I should go grab one.
Yeah,
we
clutch
should-
up with the Dr. P.
We should. I'll go grab one. And we'll dive into space news first. But after space news, we're talking about cool stuff that I found for sale that's NASA related or really space. But obviously, like we talked about with the crazy history episode, there's not a lot of artifacts for sale from newer space companies. So
Let's
we're working with what we got.
spend some money, man. You know?
We're gonna have to go up out that 500,000 per episode download number is gonna have to go up if we're gonna justify these costs.
All right, guys, buy some merch. We don't have any, but go ahead and start
12 shirts,
buying it.
Yeah, space train shirts are coming.
All right, man. Get you a Dr. Pepper.
All right, hit him with some space news.
Oh man. All right, gang. Well, I guess we're doing it live. So, let's see. In space news in the last week, Firefly just lost a rocket. They launched something for Lockheed Martin, and on the way up, something happened between the first stage and second stage, and they stopped being good friends, but not in the cool we won't talk anymore way, but in the one of us is going to kill the other kind of way. So the second stage didn't quite make it to orbit. There's the Dr. Pepper, and seems to have exploded the nozzle extension, and pretty impressive to survive that long enough to make a long burn on your second stage. But man, did not seem great.
I read that it still made it to orbit, just not as high as they wanted.
It depends what you call an orbit, right?
Got it. Got it.
If I throw a baseball off a mountain, that is an orbit. It's just that the perigee is I guess I'm a little out of my depth on this, but yeah,
We're
I think
splitting
they didn't quite have a complete orbit.
Well, okay, then I'm with you. If
Yeah.
it didn't go all the way around, then I'm not counting it. I will not be toyed with on this subject, okay?
You've always said this.
I've stood on this business from the get-go, honestly.
Did I tell you? Never mind. I shouldn't say this. Let's move on.
Okay. Beyond the scope of space travel, but still private space industry related, sort of, New Zealand Rocketry Association just put a rocket in space.
Yeah, dude. Congrats, New Zealand. Clutch up.
Yeah, I believe it's pronounced Marikai too. It was a space shot designed by let's see here, Ethan Kossuth Dude, I'm going to butcher all these names. I apologize.
Sorry,
but,
guys.
There's more coming. Kelvin McVinney, Chris North, and Dr. Martin Van Thiel reached Mach 2.8 on the first stage, and then second stage saw Mach 5.6.
Let's go. That rounds
stage.
up to 6. You can call it hypersonic at that point.
Just do it. Yeah, and honestly, in case anybody's not familiar,
A space shot is a rocket that goes above 100 kilometers.
Oh! Wait. That's horrendous that we have that as a soundbite. I mean, it's appropriate, but damn, dude. All right.
Welcome to the club of Taylor and Matt on my other podcast. Speaking of which, if you're listening to this the day that it comes out, which you wouldn't be able to anyway, otherwise, Dean Spittle from the New Zealand Rocketry Association was recently on the Anti-Gravity Group podcast and talked about this flight and New Zealand rocketry and other stuff. I presume it hasn't happened yet, but this is how it works in the business,
In the business, yeah. Yeah, dude,
okay.
That was crazy. That thing looked awesome. They had the same sort of font style as the NASA Worm and then Kip's Mesos flight.
Yep.
Same like cool 2-stage approach. I'm excited to see more about it. I think it sounds like they've got like more info coming. Big things coming soon, so to speak.
Big things coming. Yeah, I have 2 minutes into the flight, Marikai 2 reached the Kármán line, and at 3 minutes reached a peak altitude of 121,589 meters.
That's not like
another way to say
that's
that.
not like space. That's like capital S space too.
Oh,
yeah. That's like we did it kind of.
You can almost throw a second A in there. That's how high that thing went. 398,914 America units for anyone curious, and 13 minutes was the landing time, and recovered 11 kilometers from the launch site 5 hours later. That's so close. Actually, that's really good.
Wait. Did they say the distance downrange?
11 kilometers.
That's pretty close.
That's pretty good. But what's really cool
six
about
miles, 7 miles,
yeah, something like that. I didn't put.
That's within the FAR
that.
waiver. That's if you wanted to do a space shot from FAR. If you could get I know. You know what? I'm not going to apologize. It's our podcast. We can talk about whatever we want.
Yeah, go off, Queen.
Go.
A space shot is
no.
Dude, I'm gonna get karma so hard for having all of these handy for everyone but me. But I'm the one editing them and putting them together. So
all right. Here's what I wanted to say. So FAR will give you a 10-mile radius cylinder for their waiver, and you can't get a whole lot more than that, from what I understand. And a 2-stage is always going to have a harder time staying in that waiver because of the coast time and because of tilting over. And a passive 2-stage at that is even harder. Which is, I'm doing a bunch of guidance stuff right now, and it's all centered around the idea of like you've got to go straight up on both stages. Right. And recovering from 121 kilometers and only going 11 kilometers sideways is crazy. It's really, really good.
I mean, that's about half what my N1000 rocket did.
Yeah. Right.
I really pushed the waiver cylinder. I was inside it. I verified this, which is why I'm willing to talk about it publicly. But no
one ever breaks their waiver.
No one ever has or gone outside the cylinder. My main chute came out at 45,000 feet, but we don't really need to talk about that detail. Let's talk more about the fact that this is the first time a rocket has gone across the Kármán line, a private or amateur rocket, I should say, not private, that has GPS verification of its max altitude.
Yeah, dude. Pretty sick. Do you know if they had a Kate? Is that what they were using?
They didn't. And, dude, so they have... New Zealand rocketry people are the sickest, most hardcore rocketry people I've ever seen. So,
shout out to friend of the pod, Peter Beck, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, shout him out. Altus Metrum is like all open source. So they're basically just taking Altus Metrum designs and improving on them. And like, they sent me some pictures. There was one that's like a Telemega, but it's way smaller and fits in a 30mm tube. And my personal favorite, USB-C and integrated charging circuits, which is beautiful. And also, evidently the GPS restrictions are a little lighter there. So they got some really good GPS stuff.
We could go on so many tangents, and I do think this is our podcast and we can do whatever we want. And I'll just do this one tiny little tangent, which is that the law is different than the implementation for almost all GPS limits. You know this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, it sounds like they just correctly interpret the law over there.
Yeah, I think so. And dude, they had like a 40-foot long Yagi antenna and like a hut built to hold it up. Like, and different tracking stations in different locations. That's went so sick. All out on this, and it's so sick. So yeah, shout out those guys, dude. They're like
Big
making
ups.
their own black powder, rolling their own tubes. And I know, I'm sorry, I'm dwelling here. The manufacturer that makes motors in New Zealand, evidently the restrictions for producing a commercially available hobby rocket motor are very different in New Zealand because you can just like, they're like custom made to order for 75s and 98s. They're 3 and 4 inch motors, and they don't have like a preset.
Like you give them the
designation.
grain geometry?
I think you could, in theory.
Whoa.
Yeah. So they have a bunch of like reloads that they sell commercially, but for 3-inch and bigger stuff on the website, they're like, yeah, it'll be approximately this. Just pick how many grains you want and what diameter you want, and we'll bring you a motor.
That's
you can,
awesome.
Like, custom order motors, and they've made up to R's and flown them out there. Crazy.
I'm going to New Zealand. Braden, you want to go on a vacation?
I legitimately, Shane and I are talking about this for their launch next March.
Let's circle back on that, but we should get into the business here.
Okay. I have 2 more space things actually. We'll go through them real quick. China's Shenzhou 19 astronauts returned to Earth after 6 months aboard the I'm gonna get canceled. Tiangong space station.
Yeah, Tiangong. I think that's it. I think it's close.
Look at me go, dude.
Well, shouts out. Welcome back.
Yeah. How was your trip?
Friend of the pod.
This was pertinent to your space news from last week. Very timely. SpaceX just launched their 250th Starlink mission.
Crazy. I was telling my dad about that today. I was like, yeah, they launched Kuiper, and in the time between the first launch attempt of this Kuiper launch and the actual launch of that Kuiper thing, it was like 70 Starlink satellites within then.
Oh, we could also talk about the fact that they actually launched the Kuiper satellites. Although in the last episode we talked about this, it's kind of in limbo whether or not it had happened to that point.
Oh. All right, because, well, either way.
Remember I was like, oh yeah, they flew, and you're like, no. I was like, oh, well, whoopsie.
Oh, they did. I mean, I watched it. It happened.
They have,
strapped big old solid motors on that thing and lit it up.
Oh yeah, baby. Where's a good soundbite for that? Hold on, please hold. Okay, let's talk about some. Oh,
all right, guys.
Excellent transition. Joe, let's talk about crazy stuff I found for sale on the internet.
Best podcast 2025. This year we're winning it for sure, dude.
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
It works so much better if I can just straight face through it, but it's so hard. Okay, I apologize in advance to the listening listeners. I almost said listening viewers of the podcast. We're really nailing it today.
Yeah, you just gotta keep going.
I'm just gonna show pictures to Joe, and if you're not watching this on YouTube, just like use your imagination. There's nothing.
I'll describe
really
it. I'll
crazy.
describe it.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So first up, let's go here. This is the first thing I found that I was like, okay, what's going on?
Why don't I guess what this is?
Oh, go for it.
All right. So we got what looks like 4 boxes in the photo. It looks like they're on some speckled garage floor, and one of the boxes says Mitchell on it, like a label, the company Mitchell. It's got a couple of big ports in the back of each box. One of them says Monitor 16, and this makes me think that it's the thing that you talked about last week, which is some type of high-speed film situation.
That is correct. I'm glad that you rightfully pointed out the nice epoxy floor in the garage, because I am jealous of that.
No, you got to appreciate. That's
They probably put a lot of work into that. So
yeah,
it's very nice to point it out. But yes, this is 4 HS16 E4 16mm Mitchell cameras from NASA.
Oh,
JPL.
it's a camera.
Yeah, it's a camera.
Whoa.
There's 4 of them. They're high-speed 16mm. They use regular 16mm film, which, Joe, is still available. And go ahead, Joe Barnard.
Can you call me? Thank you. You know how you can tell this is a camera in hindsight?
How so?
All right. So if you're an audio listener, I'm going to describe what I'm looking at. On the box that I'm looking at, and presumably on each box, there is a circle with a vertical line through it. If you're looking at it on YouTube, it's on the left, on that top box. Braden, do you know what that is?
I don't.
Okay. So this is on every camera. DSLR, video camera, almost every camera you've got. That is the plane. That is the like the cross-section plane of where the sensor is. And the reason you have this, especially for film cameras, when you don't have like really good ability to monitor through a big viewfinder or whatever, is for people who are pulling focus. I can't remember what the name of that person is on a film set.
Key grip. No, I
don't know. It's not, whatever. The person who focuses the camera, you use a tape measure, and that is the point where you measure against. It's from the sensor plane to whatever you want to focus on. And so a lens will have a like a dial on it that says like 6 feet, 8 feet, 12 feet, whatever. So you measure that, but that's the point you measure against.
Wow.
So when you see that symbol, you know there's a sensor there.
Dude, and don't ever catch people saying the space for improvement is not educational. Okay?
I've always said this.
You
constantly. Yeah.
From the rip, you've been keeping it above 50 in that manner.
Yeah, and that's on business.
You're standing on it, so it might as well be. Joe, these are only $250 each.
No way! Braden,
yeah.
What are you doing this weekend, man?
Dude, they're in California, too. Like,
holy
pretty
Moses.
close to us. I really am tempted to, like, I'm just afraid it's not going to work.
How many frames per second it's supposed to shoot?
No. Let me see if I can do a little bit of research real quick.
God, this feels like a really good video, except what it actually feels like is a project that I think will take 1 week and will actually take 5 months.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was like, dude, it'll be really fun to just, like, we could just, like, go fly a sea motor. And
this has
shoot
hot glue rocket
cool.
written all over it.
Oh, yeah. I don't envy that. I can't find anything about it specifically. It seems like it kind of depends on that specific camera and setup. So, I don't know. But, man, it would be sick. I just feel like we're going to get one, and then they're going to be like, yeah, okay, so all you need is the film and this $10,000 piece of equipment that hasn't been made for 45 years.
Yeah. There's this place that I like to get film developed called Last Good Film Lab. Like, that's their name, is Last Good Film Lab.
That's nice.
And I brought a bunch of old 16 and 8mm film there for my great-grandfather a while back, and I was like, how much would you guys charge for this? And it was like, it was like thousands of dollars for the amount that I wanted to get. And that would be the amount that you would like shoot for a launch or setup or whatever.
Oh, God.
So it costs money.
Yeah. Dude, I have, if you wanted to do some cool, like, sort of standard format stuff, I have some interesting film cameras that we've done DVR conversions on.
Nice.
Shane and I. So I've got it. Oh boy, I can't remember what it's called now. Any other time, if we weren't recording, I would know exactly what it is. Musicians can relate. Dude, I love the name of that film lab, though. That's very on the nose.
You should go to their website, too. It's so good. Can we go right now? Can you just go right now?
Yeah,
this is a messy podcast anyway. Let's go right now and then put it up on the screen.
Boom. Dude, I love the Los Angeles area. They don't have time for not straightforward. One of my favorite pizza places in LA, it's in Hollywood, it's called Best Fucking Pizza. That's the actual name of the restaurant.
Just say it, tell it like it is.
They have a hot chicken place too that I recently tried. Pretty solid.
All right. Here we go. I love the spinning logo. Can you scroll down? Is there a scroll down situation here? It used to be, okay, this is actually much nicer than it used to be. This is no longer noteworthy. It used to be like this 1995 era sparkly background, like
Just full
know,
HTML1.
customation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it looks like they've updated, but
I will critique that their FAQs has an apostrophe on it and shouldn't.
mm,
Kind of disrespectful. Let's move on.
great.
How's that sound? This is where we step up a little bit, Joe, and I want you to, well, let's see. How can I do this without you seeing the price? Here we go. Okay. Let's just keep playing it guessing mode style.
I like this. I like a little challenge.
Go ahead and describe to the people what you're looking at.
This is so if you're looking to like get murdered, this is probably where you're gonna want to be. Let me describe. If you're on the highway, as long as you're above 70 miles an hour, go ahead and whip out your phone and just take a long look at it. But if you're below,
Check your
that,
emails too.
yeah, and if Instagram's open, I mean, who's to say? So
Yeah, it slipped.
what we're looking at is, I would say, it looks like the size of a 20-foot shipping container, but it's not. It's a custom building, and on the left side here, there is a sliding door that looks to be about the size of 2 full-size human doors, like a door that you'd see in a house. And so this big sliding door slides over to the right, and something opens up inside. Braden, is this a space thing?
Yeah, kinda, yeah. It's a space industry related thing, but I do want to give you first for that description. Really good.
Thank you.
This is the White Room building from the Apollo 11 launch pad.
Whoa. For real?
Yeah. It says this is the description from the eBay listing. This building is called the White Room. It came off of the Apollo mission launch pad at Cape Kennedy, Florida. The White Room was located at the top of the launch pad, and the astronauts stored their gear before they went into the rocket. The launch pad was dismantled in 1978. Pictures of the this is my favorite part. Pictures of the demolition of the launch pad, letters from NASA, and a construction magazine article about the demolition will be provided in the pictures above whenever I receive them.
Oh.
So that's
Yeah, so
promising.
not that anyone would ever lie on the internet.
I've never seen it happen.
And I've never done it. So, but I feel like I've seen a few instances of like, this is the White Room from The Thing. And
yeah.
my like sus meter is not at 0.
Yeah, same. And also there's another sentence I omitted, but since I've got it open, it's kind of funny to me. Because he just doxed this man in his eBay listing. He says, if there are any questions you would like to ask about this item, you can call or email my uncle. His contact information will be down below when I get them. Evidently.
Wait, what? He doesn't have his uncle's contact info?
At the time of writing, apparently he did not.
Pull the plug. This is not, there's no way this is a real listing.
Wait, I was just about to read his phone number and email address out loud.
He doesn't have a social security, does he?
No, it's on there, and his credit card.
Dude, okay, let's play a game. How much do we think he wants for this White Room?
I already know, but...
Well, right, yeah, so this is the game. If you're listening, say it out loud. Go ahead.
Oh, that was close.
I think that was a pretty close guess. Here's mine. I think he wants $20,000. Am I high or low?
You're so low.
Oh man, this is a scam. I know this is absolutely a scam. He wants 50.
If you added a extra $200,000 to that, you would be right on.
Dude,
a $250,000.
a quarter mil for the shittiest looking murder shack you've ever seen. And like, dude, listen, if it's legit, then yeah, pretty cool. Especially if you're like a museum and you want to refurb it or whatever. But dude, No, I'm not buying anything from the guy who's like, yeah, call you can like once I get my uncle's contact information, then we can talk. All right, so we got a sign that says clean room, garments required, controlled area. Let's look at some other photos here.
Contact service advisor or pad leader for access. And this gives some credibility.
Cool boxes for sure on the side.
Some electrical nonsense. This is an important picture to have. It appears to be
Yeah,
just
no,
like
that's
some
real
sort
important
of
for
a
sure.
steel beam laying in the overgrowth around the building.
This is not, dude. Listen, Apollo was so cool. This is not worth $250,000.
No, dude, this is like you could get how many Snoopies, silver Snoopies for that $250,000? How much was that?
Oh yeah, the safety Snoopy.
Hot chick getter 420 or whatever.
That's what they called me in high school. That's definitely not what they called me in high school. Let's move on.
In high
Let's
school,
talk
they
about
just
something.
called me fat. So we're we'll move
Wow,
on.
welcome back to Space for Improvement, everyone.
Oh my god. I should take just the space for improvement part for a soundbite whenever we have a moment like that. We'll
Yeah.
just drop her in. Okay. This
Oh,
one
that's
should
a
be-
good one, dude. That's a good one that you found. I like that one a lot.
That I couldn't believe, like that was one of the first things. All I did was search NASA authentic on eBay and sorted by the most expensive.
Yeah.
I was like, well, this is already the gift that keeps on giving. And speaking of which, tell us what you see here, Joe.
All right, pals. So we've got what looks like a piece of rack equipment, probably about 1.5 wide. That kind of vibe.
Mhm.
It's a deep blue. It's got a bunch of switches, and at the top it says Crew Compartment Trainer 2 CCT2. Love an acronym. Power
Mhm.
console. And so then some of the switches here. On the top row, we've got incoming power main, 26 VDC power supply, 400 hertz power supply, audio, and then on the bottom, got some like toggle or some button switches, tilt comp off, maybe tilt compensation. So I'm thinking this is a piece of hardware that ran a simulator on the ground for astronaut training. How'd I do? Did I get it?
You got it.
Let's go.
Do you want to guess what era?
This looks like shuttle.
You got it. The Space Shuttle cabin trainer these consoles were used in was used for 18 years at NASA's Johnson Space Center. Fun fact, actually, I might have seen these in person because I moved to Houston in 2011 and forced my parents to take me to the Johnson Space Center for the tour. And they've like watered it down a bunch, but they used to take you into like the Apollo control mission room and the shuttle control mission room and mission control. I'm gonna get lit up. We already know that. I don't know anything about space.
You already know.
It was the CCT2, as you pointed out, the shell of which is now at the Lone Star Flight Museum at Ellington Field, which I believe implies that it was a full-size shuttle training unit,
Yeah.
and this was out of it. So this is an exact replica of the actual, switches and what have you and buttons that were found in the actual space shuttles. And I think I must have seen, well, not this directly, obviously, but I do remember, since it had not been that long after the shuttle was discontinued when we moved down there, we got to go in the building where they had the trainers and they had tools
That's
and stuff.
cool.
It was really cool.
Oh man, have you ever seen, I got to go to the NASA Ames facility last year, and they've got this, it's like a crazy, 912 something degree of freedom simulator, but the thing is like 5 stories tall or something.
Whoa.
And it can go, the little cab can go sideways like 30 feet and up and down like 5 stories. And so they used it to train shuttle pilots to land, so you could feel the drops and whatever. And I wanted so bad. They do not let normal people, as far as I can tell, like go in there just willy nilly.
Just play with it.
Yeah, dude, that thing is sick. And they had before they could do it like computerized. This is another big tangent, but before they could do it computerized, they would project or they would draw or paint out the ground track on the big wall and then use a camera that would slide along the wall so you could like simulate landing. I think it might have been for like SR-71 pilots. I feel like I'm starting to make stuff up. We are both going to get lit up on this episode, man.
It's fine, dude. This is what we do. We vaguely talk about things that we vaguely know about. But no, that sounds sick. Any Houston homies in the chat, pour one out for the Ballooner Festival. It was a hot air balloon festival they used to do at the Johnson Space Center. They used to have a NAR club that flew rockets at the Johnson Space Center, like 500
really
feet
cool.
from a Saturn V. I still have my membership card because it was like, it also was security access that let you on the Johnson Space Center. I thought it was the coolest thing ever when I was a teenager.
Sick.
And then they stopped doing the Ballooner Festival. And when they did the festival, they had like a huge expanded tour. And it was like an hour and a half tour of the Johnson Space Center where they would take you in all kinds of stuff. They had people selling Zumba classes in there too, which was weird. But
Well, you got to stay fit.
I guess you're right.
Yeah. Seems above board to me. Sell some Zumba at Johnson Space Center.
Oh, you said about 1.5 feet wide. Says 19 inches. You got good eyes on there, Barn.
I got good little peepers going. I don't know why I said it. Come on, let's just get
glasses.
pull. I need an eject button.
One funny thing from this one's description highlights that obviously many astronauts trained on it, but also that February 7th, 1994, President Bill Clinton visited the Johnson Space Center and may have touched this.
That's the anecdote?
Countless senators and other important leaders have visited as well. We are pretty sure that many of them had the honor of touching these controls. What are the odds of that?
Braden,
No shot,
Braden,
right?
Keep it $1.50 with me. Does it actually say that? We are pretty sure that many senators have had the honor of touching this thing.
Look.
There's
President
no
Bill
way.
Clinton, I was reading that verbatim.
We are pretty sure that many of them had the honor of touching these controls. That's crazy.
I don't.
Says this item is heavy and large, about 19 inches wide, 12 inches tall, and 25 inches deep. I'm trying really hard to refrain from saying more about that.
How
But
about
yeah,
instead you try and guess how much they want for this fine piece of machinery?
well, listen, if Bill Clinton may have touched this,
Pretty sure he touched
pretty
it.
sure that he may have touched this, the value's through the roof. I mean, you can't put a price on
Absolutely.
that. No
Is
way.
that pre-Lewinsky? Must
He
be.
played the saxophone, dude.
Yeah, he did. Man, did he ever.
Oh, I think 750,000. Easy.
Whoa, okay. So you're overshooting one way or the other.
All right.
Dude, the
I-
Roblox oof was my favorite one last time.
Dude, the problem with the oof, I've heard people get like copyright claimed for it sometimes.
Oh, yeah,
like
you
they're
told me
super
about that.
Yeah. So I think my legit guess is it's under 100, right?
No, actually.
No?
Not over by a ton.
120? Did I get
Close
it?
enough. It's
All right.
125,800 for some reason.
800. they were
I assume the 800
yeah,
must
125
be-
is just not quite enough.
Yeah, it's gonna be 800 to ship this bitch. We got roll her in. Okay, this is not so much like directly NASA related. Like this one's not even comical.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
something that I think is sick. So why don't you go ahead?
Let's do it, man. It's our podcast. We can
Describe-
do whatever we want.
Yeah, you're right. It is
All
just
right, gang.
cool stuff that I found for sale.
We've got what looks like a photocopy of a photo. The photo is at the bottom. It says 7 original NASA astronauts, and it has a bunch of NASA astronauts. I'm going to name a
I
few
thought you were
of
gonna
them.
go for it. Okay, go. For
Oh
it.
yeah, I'll go for it. So on the left, I think that is. Oh man, all right. Let's go with the ones I know. Gus Grissom is in the center. We've got okay, Wally Schirra, right? No, Wally Schwinn. Is that what that says? No, it's Wally Schirra. Alan
is.
Shepard. I mean, I'm reading the signatures at this point. Al Shepard. Who's all the way on the left?
I believe that is Scott Carpenter.
Okay, Scott Carpenter. Is that Gene Kranz? Gene Kranz is not that young.
Nope.
Yeah, that's all I know. I mean, Gus Grissom is the easy one.
That's interesting because he's not there.
What? That's Gus in the center. That's absolutely him.
Okay, yes. It's not signed by him, I should say. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I know his face. I don't know all of them just look like white dudes. But Gus Grissom has like a more I don't know.
I think actually
face.
There's egg on my face, Joe. I don't think that's him. There's 7 people and 7 signatures. Gus Grissom is not one of them.
No way. Bring it back up. Bring it back up. Bring it back up. All
right.
I'm pretty confident about this. Let me look. 7 original NASA astronauts. So I think here we go. Their names announced by NASA on April 9th, 1959. The 7 original, or the original 7, quote, are Scott Carpenter, Gordon Cooper, John Glenn, Gus Grissom, Wally Schirra, Alan Shepard. Oh, and Deke Slayton. That's who it is. But yeah, that's definitely Gus.
You're right.
I don't know where his signature is.
That's okay. I'm glad
I
I wasn't. All right, you're right. His signature is maybe not on there, but there is 4 signatures. Oh, it's 2 Mark something. So Gus didn't sign. I see what's happening.
Okay, if this is and the photo is signed, if we didn't clarify that,
yep. And it's the actual original photo.
That's worth a bunch of money.
It is.
And I don't know that I would be the person to pay that money, but out of all of the things we've seen so far, that is the one that I think like I would be most likely to pay some money for. Would I pay more than $500 for it? Personally, I probably wouldn't, but that has more of a reflection about the market that I'm in and the things I want to buy. I think if I were selling this, $200,000. I don't know.
Okay.
If it's all real signatures.
It is all real signatures. Apparently, there is.
I would start the bidding there and then see what I get.
I don't think it's like verified signatures is the thing.
Okay. I guess I don't know how you do that either.
Yeah, you have to have like analysts and stuff. They're asking 30,000.
Listen, I do not have that skrill, but
kind of reasonable, right?
Man, that's not a lot of money if that's real.
Like if you're just a guy that's spending crazy money and you're just loaded on like space and history artifacts and stuff.
Dude, I could do a space shot or I could have a really cool Polaroid. Oh,
A space shot is a rocket that goes above 100 kilometers.
You know what we should do is we should give this job to a bot. This is AI is taking our jobs. But one of the jobs that AI is going to take is a bot that listens to us, and then when we say one of the like trigger phrases, it cues the soundboard.
That'd be so funny. I'll get a soundbite of me saying 12, and then anytime that number comes up in the podcast, we'll be like, you know what it is? Just 12. Okay, yeah,
30K is. I mean, do you agree? 30K feels low.
I honestly thought so as well, but I wanted to put some stuff on here that was reasonably affordable as well. Obviously.
Yeah.
This one, Joe, you're gonna have a pretty easy time describing, I think.
All right, let's do it.
And I will preface by saying you hadn't seen this yet, at least in my case, and I suspect you might also be on board. Of all the things we're going to look at, if you and I had unlimited money, which obviously we do because of this podcast.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's clear. Yeah.
This is probably one of the things that I would buy just to have.
Well, so this is going to be, folks, what we're looking at here is a Sony DV cam, 3 CCD. So it's got a CCD sensor, which means if you point it at the light, you're going to get a vertical line. $1.5 million, 2 mil. I mean, how much do they want for that? This is a valuable piece of hardware.
I don't know why it's special, but I agree. This is crazy expensive. This, Joe, is a Sony camcorder, as you described, that flew on a space shuttle mission.
Oh, this is legit. I thought this was a bit. I mean,
No.
it's kind of a bit, but it's okay.
Yeah, well, yeah. But it is legitimately, it was flown on SDS-12, or 112, sorry, which was 2002, duration of 11 days. So that means in total, Joe, this camera has traveled 7.2 million kilometers, or about 4.5 million miles, and orbited the Earth a whopping 170 times.
This is a great. We could do an entirely separate podcast on like why we assign value to things. So like it's cool that it went into space, right? And also, it's like I just think it's interesting. So like, is there a price on this? Can I guess a price?
There is a price, and there is also a certificate of authenticity.
Okay, all right. So we know it's the legit thing. Is it less than $100,000?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Surprise. So it's a steal.
It's, I mean, yeah.
It's a bargain.
I've already purchased this.
Yeah.
I just took screenshots of the listing.
So, $40K?
Dude, I'm telling you, you're going to get actually tempted.
10.
Less.
5?
Yeah. $5,440.
Okay. Now, hold on. That's only about 1% of the revenue we make every day on this YouTube channel / podcast. So, I'm thinking we make a strategic business investment.
I think so.
Listen, 5 is not, but like, I was about to say, I thought this was going to be much higher. And I was about to say, I think it's strange that we assign so much value to things that like don't inherently have value. It's just because of the things that they have experienced. And my guess was going to be that this was going to be like, 100, 200K for a camcorder that is wildly out of date.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool. There is some cool part to it having flown into space. But Braden, if this thing is $5,000 and it flew on the space shuttle,
yeah, I know. You don't have to
for
convince
11
me.
days in orbit.
Yeah, I know. I found another one for sale for $65 on eBay right now. We don't need to talk about that.
Oh, I'm gonna bet that does not have the certificate of authenticity.
No, it's not a NASA one. Just the same camcorder is $65. So to your point, it is also still kind of, you're like, wow, that's really weird that we suddenly think that's valuable. But it was really fun to watch the roller coaster of you be like, see, this is a philosophical nightmare, to being like, okay, actually, wait, it's sort of reasonable.
It's not nothing. $5,000 isn't nothing, right?
Oh, no. Yeah.
But 11 days, now I'm justifying it.
I see. That's fine.
All right. This was a good pick. This was a great one.
Thank you. I actually found that one earlier, like not too long before we recorded. I was like, what?
I'm
This
jazzed.
is so
I'm
sick.
jazzed about it. Dude, this is the rush that you get from lowballing people on Facebook Marketplace. You're
Dude,
like, they have no idea what they have.
That has bit me so hard before in the past, because eBay started implementing this thing where like you have to put in your credit card information if you send an offer. And that's how I wound up with my first Gibson Les Paul, because I put in a number that was so unbelievably low that I was like, obviously not.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, sure. And I was like, oh no, I didn't have that money for real.
I was just joshing, dude.
I guess Capital One has it, so yeah.
I was just
anyway,
doing a little goof and a spoof.
That's what it was a goof. It was a gaffe.
Braden, let me just say this. If 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 it were $2,000, if it were $2,000 and I had 2.5 beers, I don't know, man. You
What
can
if-
put a lot on a credit card.
Okay, let's say in a few months, when this podcast, I mean, it's already huge, but when this cast has blown up and we got a huge
Did you
Raid
just call it
Shadow
a
Legends
cast?
read. This cast, yeah.
Everyone's calling them pods. We should be calling it casts. Yeah.
We're casting. If this cast is hitting our Raid Shadow Legends Manscaped reads, are we buying the camcorder that orbited the Earth? Is the question.
11 times.
Yeah, not once.
This isn't some
it
New
was-
Shepard bullshit, dude. This was up on the space shuttle.
This was real space, okay? The
I'm
New
freaking
Zealand
out.
people,
I'm geeking out, dude.
the New Zealand people put a rocket higher than Jeff Bezos does.
Yeah, that's true. 117. As long as you go above 117, you go higher to the New Shepard. Did I tell you when Blue Origin? We should probably wrap this up at some point. When Blue Origin was doing their like litigious tirade a few years ago when SpaceX won the HLS contract, Blue Origin published all these infographics that were like, it's insanely high risk and incredibly dangerous, whatever. I started to just get really bad vibes from them. Like, okay, you guys aren't building anything, and also you're just trying to patent your way out of this or whatever.
Right.
And so I had a fleeting idea, which is that New Shepard has never gone higher than 117 kilometers. And so for cue up the soundboard, when I do my space shot,
A space shot is a rocket that goes above 100 kilometers. A space shot is a rocket that goes above 100 kilometers. A space shot is a
Has a looping feature, by the way.
when I do my space shot, Estes sells a New Shepard model, and my thought was that I could fly the New Shepard plastic model higher than the actual one as a payload.
Dude,
It's too
please.
vindictive. It's too vindictive. They have a better vibe now, but they had a really bad vibe for a little bit, and I was like, I'm gonna stick it to you.
That would be hilarious. I forgot to mention this when we talked about the New Zealand rocket. There was gin and beer on it.
On the
How
New
s-
Zealand rocket?
Yeah, how sick is that?
That's pretty sick.
They put
I-
homebrewed beer higher than New Shepard goes.
I can't elaborate on that, but I know that people have flown some fun payloads on space shots.
Oh yeah. Okay. We've
Let's
got
move
one
on.
last one, Joe.
Yeah.
And the price, I'll admit, is quite a bit more extreme than I don't know what just happened. Than our last entry.
Yeah.
However, I think you might be equally as jazzed about it.
Am I in the
And-
market?
Well, in a way. Depends on how you want to do your space shot.
A space shot is a rocket
Oh,
that goes
God.
above
All right.
Here you go. Describe to the people what you are looking at. Joseph Barnard. Is your name Joseph?
Yeah.
Or is it? Yeah, that's what I mean.
JOSEPH.
I assume so.
It's
I
biblical.
just one time I was like, my friend Chris, I call him Christopher, and he's like, it's actually Christian. I was like, oh yeah, I kind of
Wow.
forgot that's possible. Anyway,
We got ooh. Okay. Well, so it's a rocket engine. And I don't want to get this thank you. I don't want to get this wrong, but I think let me just
he's
look at
going
it
for
for
it.
a second.
he's going for it, folks.
What?
He's going for it.
So, okay, all right. Let me describe what I'm seeing. So, it's a rocket engine on its side, not attached to a launch vehicle. It's on a fixture that's on a cart, so you can wheel it around if you want. The engine and the chamber is painted white. There's clearly like some turbo machinery going on. There are two what look like maybe they're like accumulators or something like that on the side. It's pretty simple as rocket engines go. It looks like it was never meant to actually fire. It was maybe like an engineering model. And I'm gonna try to guess the engine, and I think have a good guess, but I don't know for sure, and I don't want to get it wrong. But here's my guess. I think it's fast track.
Oh, I was too slow with it. This is an authentic, not a model, Rocketdyne S3D
Oh, I was never going to get that.
from NASA. And here's what the description says.
Okay.
This original NASA rocket engine used in testing during the Juno rocket program in the late 1950s with all of the proper paperwork for ownership from NASA, the GSA, and the state of Florida. This one is legal to own. This is from the early space program during the birth of NASA. These engines were used in Juno, Jupiter, and Thor rockets, and this one is in fine to near mint condition and is nearly complete with sections of the original wiring harness still intact.
All right. That is a good artifact. We are going to pay a lot of money for this. But
Oh, yeah. I will also, let me finish this off real quick.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
vintage rocket engine has been fully restored by NASA, so it is truly a museum quality, and it is mounted on a custom-made horizontal display stand, mounted on heavy casters that can easily be moved by 2 people. Shipping could be an issue. It weighs 1,000 pounds with the stand. But
it's nothing for 2 guys like us.
dude, we're jacked. Look at us.
If you're an audio listener, by the way, we are huge. We're juiced up for sure. And if you're a video listener, just go ahead and squint your eyes real good. Just squint them like that.
Oh, man. 12, baby.
Oh man, dude, it's got a bunch of things going for it. It's vintage. It's really early in the space program, so it's cool. The reason it looks simple is presumably because it is just early space program hardware. So it's like we're actually just all analog computers or whatever. It is clearly in really good condition.
I
We're
will
paying
note
over-
that
Go
at
ahead.
the end of the ad, it says price reduced 25%.
Okay. We're paying over $1 million, right?
No.
We're paying over 500?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, this is a steal.
Yeah, it's a deal, dude.
You're saving money. Are we
Just like
paying
the
over
Silver Snoopy?
300?
No, we are not.
Braden, we're going to buy some film cameras this weekend, and then we're going to the Kennedy Space Center. 200.
200 on the nose.
That feels low for this. Dude, especially considering they wanted 250 for the White Room. I would way rather have the engine.
Yeah, that's
And
what
it's
I'm
not like you're
saying.
going to run the engine. Like that's not how engines work. I had a dude reach out about an old space company a while ago, and he was like, they have all of this old hardware and you could just take the hardware and then run the engines. And I'm like, that's not how engines work. Like,
Why not? We could buy this one and just run it. Dude, we could it's on caster wheels. We could write it.
I think there's like a misconception that, like, you know, if you buy someone else's car, you put their key in and you start it. But like an engine is like started by a bunch of institutional knowledge from engineers, and like once you lose the engineers, you lose the engine.
No, I think you're making that up. I think you just got it. It's like
Are you saying
buying a
Cap?
project car. Yeah.
You
that's-
calling me Cap?
I'm calling Cap right now.
Cap and Crunch. That's all I got to say about that.
Okay. There actually is one more that I had forgotten about, and that's why I was just
Are you
spacing
going to
out a little
Steve
bit
Jobs me right now? Are you doing one more thing?
there. No, it's like a band that's opening for a band you really want to see, and they're like, we got one more, but they do it like 3 times. Happened to me
You're
with
like,
Knuckle Puck.
this sucks.
Dude.
Yeah.
Forget that band. There's gonna be someone who's a Knuckle Puck fan and be like, what, dude? Anyway. Joe. This one. Well, I don't know what else to say. Describe. Oh. I almost closed the recording studio. That was a disaster. Describe what you're looking at.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we've got a couple of things going on here. We're looking at the ass end of a metal pipe, metal slug. It looks like a softer metal. It says a couple of things on the bottom, and they're sort of imprinted, like hammered in. It says 1969, NASA. It says space dash B, and maybe something else. Then it says 9 pounds, and it says 80 and a quarter inches. So if we think about what 80 and a quarter inches is, and we think about 9 pounds, feels light for 80 inches.
Okay, what if I corrected you and told you that says 30 and a quarter inches?
It says 30. Yep. Okay, that feels better.
Okay, really see if you can see what it says after the dash after space there, Joe.
Oh! It says space bat.
It sure does say space bat.
Are we playing baseball?
Here it
Yo!
is.
It's a baseball bat. Is it all
It is.
aluminum?
He says it's aluminum, yeah.
What is this for? I mean,
have
baseball,
no idea.
But like,
It says NASA space bat, 9 pounds. And well, let me read the description to shine some light on it for you. This is a very rare bat. I have tried to find anything out about it and have found no pictures or any information about it even. This was possibly the only one made.
is that the description?
That's the whole thing.
So here's the thing, man. If our podcast doesn't work out, which is really unlikely considering how successful it's been so far,
Already,
but
yeah.
if we need to pivot somewhere, I think forging artifacts doesn't seem that hard because, like, dude, all this guy says is it's rare. And, like, you know what else is rare? This is the only Dr. Pepper can that I drank on April 30th, 2025. That is the rarest thing ever.
Yeah.
Right?
Especially considering I don't think that's fair because, like, that's part of this podcast, which is obviously a historical and
Yeah, let me give you a better
substantial
example. Like,
event.
I could chuck anything on the lathe. I could chuck some metal on the lathe and make a space bat and stamp stuff on the back that says 1969 NASA whatever. It would take me an afternoon. And how much does he want for this thing?
That's what I was going to ask you. Well, like, with all that time and effort put in, what would you be asking for this rare space bat, Joe?
Well, what? So an hour of my time is worth 800,000. So
Yeah,
I mean, I'm gonna go. I think he wants $12,000 for the space bat.
I think you misspoke, Joe. 2 million.
Oh my God! It's free local pickup from Fargo, North Dakota. But if you want to add,
damn good deal.
If you want to add $125.30 onto the 2 million flat, they will ship it to you.
I love that there's not even an option to put in an offer. He's like, no, I will take 2 million, and that's it.
We could have it by May 3rd.
That's not bad. Should we talk to the Space for Improvement accountant team?
Yeah.
I think that might be
Dude,
worth
that's
having.
crazy. I love the space bat.
We could get the camcorder too and hit it with the space bat.
Now
Just
there's
to show
a,
we don't give a
there's a
flipping
good
heck.
idea. Yeah. I can't
Well,
believe that
that-
thing was $5,000. That's crazy.
Dude, I know. It really seems like a good deal, especially with the $2 million space bat on
Hey,
the line.
can you just, this is unrelated to this, just a note. If you wouldn't mind, just shoot me a link to that camcorder. I just want to see something.
Okay. Yeah.
I just want to see something after the show. Just send me a link.
Yeah. Okay. They take a firm as well. So, yeah.
What is a firm?
It's like financing to buy expensive things.
What's the one you can finance Chipotle on?
I think that's a firm. Or
It's something
There
else.
yeah, there's another one. I can't remember what it.
There's
Klarna.
one. Klarna. That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking of.
it's the same
Kalshi,
thing.
where you can bet on. we went on Kalshi the other day, and you can bet There's one that just says new pandemic this year.
Oh,
Yeah.
what are the odds on it?
I'm gonna put the space shuttle flown camcorder on Klarna, and I'm gonna be paying $15 a month for the rest of my life. But I'll have the space shuttle camera.
If all else falls apart, dude, YouTube just crumbles.
Yeah.
This,
Even when nobody else got me, space shuttle camera got me.
Yep. This podcast too big to fail. They said that about the banks too. And look what 2008 got us, you know?
I mean, a bailout for the banks, so I feel like we're pretty good.
Oh yeah, I guess that's a good point. Huh. Well, we're okay then, but at least you'll still have the camcorder. Well,
Yeah.
should we hit on what we're doing real quick and get out of here?
Let's get out of here, man. My name, Joey B. I run YouTube.com. So
Whoa.
I have a video coming out, and this is so weird because we're doing it, 3 weeks in the future or in the past from whenever you're listening. Probably said this same thing the last podcast, but if you haven't watched it already, the Meat Rocket video is a slammer and is almost certainly out by the time you're listening. And if it isn't, something has gone terribly wrong. I must have said these exact words last week.
I think it was similar, but no, not quite.
Yeah, it's a really good video. I'm really proud of it. It's almost more of like a film toward the end than like a YouTube-y kind of thing. And I'm stoked about it. So I'm doing that, and then hopefully making some big motors pretty soon. What do you got?
A space shot is a rocket that goes.
No.
Okay, this is kind of stupid, but I just got this rocket kit from the early 2000s over here.
The Delamar?
No, it is. I actually am getting cool decals for that made, but this is an Estes kit, and I am unbelievably excited to the point that I was gonna message you and see if one of these days you want to get up early and go to Lucerne and just have ourselves an Estes flying day, because I have an affiliate thing with Estes now, so they just send me rockets and send me motors and stuff. I told them I got this and I needed motors for it. Let me grab it.
Yeah. We got the E2X.
Easy
flying?
to assemble.
Flying model rocket Kato.
It's
Mid-air
called the
disintegration.
Yeah, dude. It's made. It's like 9 pieces, and you fly it on 0 delay motors, so that on the way up it just explodes and sends pieces flying everywhere.
Make no mistake, I am happy about this. But is this not just a firework but worse?
Well, you're not adding anything that a normal Estes motor wouldn't have, right?
Dude, we should absolutely. I would love to do this. We could do a space for improvement out in the field, flying some Estes. Listen to that audio recording would be dope.
I have my Volt 2 and it's USB-C, and I have another XLR mic. It's not another SM7, but we could make it work.
Dude, the cast goes on the road, not the pod. The cast.
But yeah, dude, I'm so excited about this. And tell me, like, this model rocket was designed to destroy itself is not a great title. I'm going to have a great time.
We should get like a slow motion camera and film it blowing itself up.
We should get a 16mm slow motion camera from NASA JPL.
Now we're talking. Hey, and you know what else we're going to need? Some way to just film it, like a handheld kind of like a camcorder almost. Like if I think I might know where to get one.
Okay,
we can expense it, right?
Yeah, I have a bunch of cameras, and so do you. But I guess
no. But I just got to see something. Do you send me that link yet?
Yeah, I'll get you. We want the rocket's from like 2001, 2002. We want it to look authentically like period correct.
Appropriate era camera. That's so important. I've always said that.
I've always said
Braden,
that too.
Let's get out of here, man.
My name is Braden. You can find me on YouTube at Rocket Vlogs. Follow me on Instagram at BigB1011. We already talked about your stuff, but you can go again if you want. It's our podcast. It's our cast.
My name's Joe. If you just type in youtube.com, that's where I'll be.
You'll find him there.
Just keep clicking around. You'll find me one of these days.
Okay, outro. We're going to get it this time.
Yeah. So, pretty much, thanks, guys.
This is Space for Improvement. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
But we can't just focus